Eating out in a new country should be one of the absolute best parts of any trip. But let's be honest, it can also be a little stressful when you're not speaking your first language. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down every single step of the dining experience. That way, your next meal is all about the fun and the food, not the fear. Have you ever had that feeling you're scanning a menu and your mind is racing, just trying to find the right words to talk to the server? Well, it's a super common experience, but I promise by the end of our time here, you'll have the exact phrases and, more importantly, the confidence you need to walk into any restaurant and feel totally at ease. Okay, so let's get started. You've just walked through the door. That very first interaction, getting your table, is what kicks everything off. It really sets the tone for your whole meal. And luckily, it's actually very simple to master. Here it is. This is your go-to phrase. It's polite, it's direct, and everyone will understand you. All you have to do is change the number depending on your group size. A table for one, please, or a table for four, please. See? It's that easy. A lot of the time, the first thing the host will ask is, do you have a reservation? Now, if you've booked ahead, your answer is right there on the left. But if you're just walking in, no problem. The phrase on the right is the perfectly polite way to see if they have a spot for you. All right, now for the main event, ordering your food. This can feel like the most intimidating part of the whole thing, but really, it's just a few simple steps. So let's break it down together. Honestly, the whole ordering process is as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you'll read the menu. Next, and this is important, you'll ask any questions you have. And finally, you'll place your order. Let's take a look at how to handle each of these moments. So what happens if you see a word or maybe an ingredient you don't recognize? First off, don't worry. It happens to native speakers too, all the time. The most important thing to remember is that it is always okay to ask. Your server's job is to help you have a great meal. So how do you actually ask? Well, this phrase is perfect. But you can also ask for their opinion, say something like, what do you recommend? Or you can clarify details, like, is this dish spicy? Asking questions is the key to getting exactly what you want. Okay, you've looked over the menu, you've made your choice. The server comes back and asks that big question. Are you ready to order? Here's exactly how you can respond. The most common and polite way to order is just to start with I'll have or I would like, and then say your choice. And of course, don't forget to add please at the end. I'll have the beef sandwich, please. It's a simple little formula that works every single time. Your food has arrived and it looks delicious. The main conversation is over, but there are a couple of small interactions you can probably expect during the meal. Knowing what's coming will help you feel completely relaxed. At some point while you're eating, your server will likely stop by your table to check on you. All they want to know is that you're enjoying your meal. A simple, friendly response is perfect. Something like, it's very good, thank you, or everything is great, thanks, works great. But what if you need something? Maybe another drink, or you dropped your fork. How do you get your server's attention without feeling rude? Well, it all comes down to one simple, polite phrase. Excuse me is the perfect way to politely get someone's attention. Then you just follow it with, could I get? This is a really soft and respectful way to ask for anything you need, whether it's more water or extra napkins. So, you've finished your fantastic meal. Now it's time for the final step, paying the bill. This part involves a couple of key phrases and one very important cultural custom you'll definitely want to know about. When you're ready to leave, this is what you say. It's worth pointing out that in American English, you'll often hear the word check instead of bill. But honestly, don't worry about it. Both are perfectly understood, so you can just use whichever one you remember. Okay, next, let's talk about tipping, which is also called gratuity. In some countries, like the US and Canada, it's customary to leave some extra money for your server. This is because servers' wages are often pretty low and they're supplemented by these tips, so it's a really important part of their income. So, how much is expected? While it can vary, a good general guideline for good service is somewhere between 15 to 20% of the bill's total before tax. Anything in that range is considered totally standard and is really appreciated by your server. But what if you're out with friends and you all want to pay for your own food? It's a very common situation, and thankfully, there's a really simple phrase for it. This simple question lets your server know that each person wants to pay for their own meal. The best time to ask this is when you're asking for the bill itself.
and most restaurants are totally happy to do it for you.
So we've covered the entire journey from the moment you walk in the door to the moment you pay the bill. Let's wrap up with what I like to call a confidence toolkit. These are the key takeaways to remember for your next meal out. Remember these key things. Try to speak slowly and clearly. Always use please and thank you. Politeness goes such a long way. And remember, it is always okay to ask questions. And finally, try to think of every meal as just another chance to practice. Making small mistakes is a normal and actually essential part of learning. Let's end with this thought. A restaurant isn't a test of your English. It's more like a playground for it. It's a real place where you can practice, connect with people, and enjoy some amazing new flavors. Your skills are going to grow with every single bite. So go out there, be confident, and most of all, enjoy your meal.